What if I told you every second you spent chasing a woman who didn't care was time stolen from your life? Every text she ignored, every night you couldn't sleep, every ounce of energy wasted trying to prove your worth to someone who never saw it. That wasn't love. That was a distraction, an illusion. And it cost you not just in pain but in purpose that you've been taught to chase prove hold on. Like love is something earned through struggle. But here's the truth. Your time is your most valuable asset. You don't get refunds on the years you waste. So ask yourself, if you left this life right now, would you be proud of how you spent your time? Or would you regret chasing someone who never chased you back? This isn't about bitterness, it's about clarity. About finally seeing that your worth doesn't depend on anyone else's attention. And once you get that, truly get that, you're free. If you're tired of the games, tired of being stuck, and ready to hearten brutal truths that will cut through the noise and change the way you see women and yourself, then you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment. This isn't just another video. This is a turning point. Let's begin. Asterisk number 1. If she's not choosing you, stop choosing her. Asterisk. It's one of the hardest truths a man will ever face. But it's also the most freeing. You were not put on this earth to chase after someone who treats you like a backup plan. You weren't built to sit quietly on the sidelines, hoping to be noticed by someone too distracted or disinterested to truly see you. And yet, countless men fall into this trap, giving their time, energy, and emotional strength to women who barely acknowledge their presence. Not because they're weak, but because they've been taught that love means proving yourself, that if you just try hard enough, if you wait long enough, that if you sacrifice enough, she'll finally wake up and realize your worth. But it doesn't work like that. That's not love, that's delusion. Imagine this. You keep texting her, liking her posts, showing up when she needs something. But when you need support, she's nowhere to be found. You tell yourself she's just busy, just complicated, just not ready. But deep down, you know she's just not into you the way you're into her. And every time you ignore that truth, you betray yourself a little more. That feeling in your gut, that constant questioning, that's your self-respect trying to survive. The Stoics would tell you attachment to what is outside your control is the root of suffering. And that's exactly what's happening here, that you've attached your value, your peace, and your sense of identity to someone else's attention, something you cannot command or control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. So why are you handing that power over to someone who doesn't even value it? A woman who genuinely respects and values you will not make you question your place in her life. She will not treat you like a temporary distraction or a convenience. She won't ghost you, breadcrumb you, or keep you dangling in uncertainty. Love isn't some complex riddle you have to solve. It's either there or it isn't. And if it's not, no amount of chasing will ever change that. The psychological toll this takes on a man is severe and often invisible. You lose confidence. You second-guess your words, your worth, your value as a man. You start editing yourself to become more likable, more agreeable. You shrink. You lose the fire that made you you. And the worst part is, most men don't even notice it's happening until they've completely lost themselves in the process. This is where the Stoic mindset becomes not just helpful but essential. Stoicism doesn't teach you to be cold or indifferent. It teaches you to ground yourself in what you can control, your actions, your standards, your boundaries. A Stoic man doesn't chase validation, that he lives in alignment with his principles. He doesn't wait for someone else to tell him he's enough. He knows he is, and if a woman can't see that, he doesn't argue, that he exits, not out of bitterness but out of clarity. Because here's the truth most men avoid. You do not have to convince the right woman to choose you. You never have to beg for a seat at the right table. A man who respects himself builds his own damn table. He stops knocking on locked doors. He stops bending over backward for someone who wouldn't even take a step forward for him. And most importantly, that he reclaims the energy he was wasting and reinvests it in himself. Ask yourself, what would your life look like if you stopped giving your best to people who treat you like an option? What could you build, become, create if you pulled all that emotional energy back and used it to fuel your own purpose? That's not selfish. That's survival. That's strength. The solution isn't about hating women or becoming closed off. It's about becoming centered. You don't stop choosing her because you're angry. You stop choosing her because you finally remember who you are. Because you see the cost of chasing someone who was never yours to begin with, and you decide you're done paying that price. Walk away not with resentment, but with power, with dignity, with the quiet confidence of a man who knows he doesn't need to beg for love. Because the right kind of love never has to be begged for. The right kind of love chooses you back. And until you find that, keep walking, keep building, keep becoming. Your time is sacred. That don't waste another minute on someone who doesn't see that. Number 2, attention is not affection. Attention is not affection. And the sooner you understand the difference, the sooner you stop confusing breadcrumbs for a meal. She compliments your style, laughs when you speak, maybe throws in a heart emoji when you share something personal. She doesn't ignore you, but she never really shows up for you either. There's always just enough interaction to keep you wondering, hoping, doubting that it's the illusion of connection, that a trick of light and timing. She knows exactly what she's doing, giving you just enough to stay emotionally invested, but never enough to feel truly seen or valued. And too many men fall for it, not because they're naive, but because they're starved for real connection, starved for meaning that in a world that has turned love into performance and affection into strategy. You think she's different because she watches your stories, responds to your jokes, or flirts when she's bored. But tell me this, when was the last time she made you a priority? When was the last time she checked on you when you were silent, when you needed something more than small talk or empty validation? If you're being honest, the answer stings. This is where many men fall into the trap. You mistake digital crumbs for emotional nourishment. You assume attention equals interest. That interest means intent, and that intent will somehow become love. But affection has weight. It has action. Attention, on the other hand, is light that floats around, lands wherever it wants, and disappears just as easily that a woman who wants you really wants you won't leave you guessing. She won't text you when she's bored and vanish when she's not. She won't keep you in emotional limbo while she invests her energy somewhere else. That a woman like that isn't confused, that she's deliberate. She knows the effect she has. She knows she's the sun in your sky, and she knows you'll keep orbiting as long as she throws you a glance now and then. The Stoics warned us about this very thing, about attaching value to things beyond our control. They didn't speak about texting and social media, but their wisdom cuts deeper than the medium. Don't value what is not your own, Epictetus said. And yet we build our self-worth on someone else's reaction, someone else's approval, the like, the reply. The attention. It gives you a hit. A rush. It feels like you matter, but the second it stops, you spiral. That's not love. That's addiction. And the only cure. Is to reclaim your attention. Stop giving it away to people who haven't earned it. Focus it inward. On your growth, your purpose, your peace. Because the moment you do that, you stop being a pawn in someone else's game, and you start playing your own. Number 3. Her mixed signals are a clear message. Mixed signals. That's a clear message that she's not unsure, that she's uninterested. When someone wants you in their life, they make it known. They don't leave you guessing. They don't make you decode cryptic texts. Or interpret silence as strategy. They show up consistently, clearly, without games. But you're stuck in the loop, reading between the lines, analyzing every word, every emoji, every delay, hoping there's meaning in the madness. But there isn't. There's just avoidance, disinterest, and the comfort of knowing you'll stick around, and no matter how little she gives. That's not a relationship. If that's manipulation, and the longer you stay, the more you teach her that it works. That she can keep you on standby without ever committing. That she can enjoy your presence without ever reciprocating. The Stoics teach us to see things as they are, not as we wish them to be. Accept reality, not chase illusions. Accept this. Her inconsistency is consistent. Her ambiguity is intentional. And your confusion, that's your cue to walk away. Not because you're giving up, but because you're waking up. The truth. Your worth. The reality that you deserve. Clarity, consistency, commitment, and anything less is a waste of your time. Number 4. You can't fix her, and it's not your job. You're not her therapist. That you're not her savior. That you're not her project manager. That you're a man, not a mission. But somewhere along the line, you started believing that if you just loved her enough, supported her enough, waited long enough, that she'd heal, that she'd changed, that she'd become the woman you see in your dreams. But that's not love. That's codependency. That's self-neglect, because of while. Number 5. You can't fix her, and it's not your job. You're not her therapist, that you're not her savior, that you're not her project manager, that you're a man, not a mission. But somewhere along the line, you started believing that if you just loved her enough, supported her enough, waited long enough, that she'd heal, that she'd changed, that she'd become the woman you see in your dreams. But that's not loved. That's codependency. That's self-neglect. Because while you're focused on her potential, that you're ignoring her patterns. You're clinging to what she could become and ignoring who she really is. And here's the truth. She's not broken, she's just not for you. And maybe she doesn't want to be fixed, that you've turned your relationship into a rescue mission. But every time you try to save her, you lose a piece of yourself. You abandon your standards. You lower your boundaries. You call it patience, but it's really avoidance. Avoidance of the truth that she doesn't want to be different, that she doesn't see you as the man to build with, just the man to lean on. And the Stoics would tell you, the only person you're responsible for is you, your choices, your reactions, your growth. Not hers, that if she's not doing the work, you can't do it for her. You can love her from a distance. But don't destroy yourself up close. Let go of the fixer role. Let her go live her chaos while you build your peace. Asterisk. Number 6. Your time is your currency. Spend it wisely. Every minute you spend chasing someone who doesn't care is a minute you'll never get back. You don't get refunds on wasted years. You don't get cash back on emotional investment. Your time is your most valuable currency. You can make more money. You can't make more time. So the question is, are you investing it, or are you spending it like it's free? Every conversation you force, every late night text you wait for, every mental loop you run through trying to understand or silence, that's time. Time you could have spent building your life, building your body, your business, your mission. Instead, you gave it to confusion. You gave it to distraction. You traded your focus for fantasy. And for what? For a woman who's not thinking about you half as much as you're thinking about her. That's not just sad. It's expensive. The Stoics teach us to value what is rare. And nothing is rarer than time. So protect it like your life depends on it. Because it does. You don't need more hours in a day. You need to stop wasting them. Asterisk. Number 7. Being chosen isn't the prize. Choosing yourself is. You think the prize is being chosen. It's not. The prize is choosing yourself. The problem? You've put her validation above your own, that you've made her attention the trophy. So when she picks someone else, you crumble. You question everything. But her choice doesn't define your value. Your choice does, and you chose to chase. You chose to wait. You chose to shrink. And that's the problem. Not her rejection, your abandonment of yourself. You handed her the pen and let her write your worth. But she never saw the pages. A Stoic man doesn't wait to be picked. He picks himself every damn day. He builds a life so full that no one can complete it. Only compliment it. He doesn't beg for space in someone else's world. He creates his own. And when you finally get that, you stop chasing and you start leading. Asterisk. Number 8. Loneliness isn't your enemy. Wasting time is. You're afraid of being alone. So you settle. You tolerate half-love. One-sided love. Love with terms and conditions. Just to avoid silence. Just to avoid stillness. But silence isn't your enemy. Loneliness isn't either. Wasting time is. Settling is. Pretending is. That's what drains you. That's what robs you of peace. You think having someone is better than having no one. But the wrong someone will cost you more than solitude ever will. Solitude builds you. It sharpens you. It makes space for clarity, growth, discipline. And when you're full on your own, you stop reaching for crumbs. You stop drinking from empty cups. Because you know, peace isn't found in another person, that it's found in becoming the man you're supposed to be. Alone isn't empty. Alone is powerful when you use it right. Asterisk. Number 9. Stop performing. Start living. You've been performing, smiling when you don't feel it, agreeing when you don't mean it, pretending to be someone you're not. To earn someone who doesn't even see you. That's not confidence, that's fear. Fear of not being liked. Fear of not being chosen. So you wear the mask. You walk on eggshells. You give what you think she wants and lose what you truly are, and you call it love, but it's performance, and performance is exhausting. The Stoics say, live according to nature, be who you are, speak your truth, act with virtue. You weren't meant to live on a stage. You weren't meant to be an actor in her drama. You were meant to be a man of substance, principle-powered, so take off the mask and start living, for real. Asterisk. Number 10. If it costs you peace, it's too expensive. It doesn't matter how good she looks, how much you want it to work. If it costs you your peace, it's too expensive. You can't put a price on calm, on focus, on clarity. And yet, you trade it for someone who brings chaos, for someone who confuses you more than she comforts you, for someone whose presence makes you question your worth. That's not love, that's loss. Peace is the highest currency of a man's life. Protect it, defend it, build it like a fortress, and if anyone tries to tear it down, you show them the door, and no matter how fine they are, and no matter how much history you share. Peace first, everything else second, because if you don't guard it, no one will do it for you. Not her, not the world, only you. You are the gatekeeper of your peace. Act like it. Asterisk. If any part of this hit you in the chest, good. That's your wake-up call. Not to hate her, not to regret the past, but to remember who you are. Stop chasing and start building. You don't need more chances. You need more clarity. You don't need more love from her. You need more respect from yourself. So here's what you do now. Take your power back. Reclaim your time. Guard your peace like your life depends on it, because it does. And if you're ready to stop surviving and start becoming, then this is your space. This is your tribe that we don't chase here, that we build here, that we lead here. So if you're done with the games, if you're ready for more than motivation, if you're ready for discipline, depth, and direction, hit that subscribe button. Comment, I'm done chasing, and join thousands of other men becoming their strongest selves. This isn't just another video. This is the line in the sand. Cross it. Your future self will thank you. Let's build together.